Previously on Critically Stupid.
Y'all, I'm just saying that Mel and Arnold nearly gave me a heart attack. I mean, they disappear from plain sight, and then it takes them all day to get home, and when they do, they're covered in like water, and they're just sopping wet, and they come in, and lo and behold, they're pulling gold out of their pockets. They're pulling daggers, bows. So we all got cleaned up, and in preparation for our soft opening of the Troll Skull Manor, we went out and we're exploring the shops and meeting the neighbors. We met these real weird folks named Daniel and Dina and Sean, the monkey, the big giant monkey. I get home and just, y'all, I need you to just listen and feel for me for a second. I had to listen to hours of Arnold auditioning people. And let me just tell you, I guess our neighbors are not that talented because it was rough. Look, we had a good soft opening. I think we're going to do okay for ourselves here. But, you know, you've met us, so there's no telling how bad this could actually go.
Any questions before we get going?
Can I have $1 million?
Absolutely, yes.
That
Easy. That easy.
Why didn't I think of that?
I'm just going to check my bank account real quick to make sure.
Yeah. No, it's my bank is actually kind of crazy. It takes like 4 days to like send money, but 5 seconds to receive it.
That Kevin Hart joke where, you see the way my bank account is set up.
Hilarious. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into Critically Stupid, soon to be world famous Real Play Dungeons and Dragons podcast. I am Alexander James, your dungeon master, and my favorite part of last episode was the Don't Make It Weird crew, who I transplanted from real life into the podcast, sort of just straight across, without asking for their permission, which was great, and I'm sure they're gonna love it.
Hey everybody, it's me, Garion. I play Gareth, and my favorite activity from last episode was when Gareth used his silver tongue and overall charisma to get some money.
For once.
My name is Dianna, and I play Mel. And my favorite part of last episode, contrary to although I did look like I was being like tortured, I actually did. I was sick. Okay, I was sick. I actually did enjoy like the bit with renovating doing a little HGTV.
Yeah.
Playing The Sims.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Katie. I play Cerulean, and I think my favorite part of last episode was us attempting to procure olives and cilantro. Such specific things.
Bruh. Honestly, like, okay, so like out of game, I had totally banked on you guys selling the loot that you took from the captain's quarters to make the money to fix it. And instead, Dianna was like, fuck no, it's all mine. And I was like, well, the end of this episode has to be something. So like, what the fuck do I do?
That was amazing. I was so glad it went that way. I was just like, hold it. Just hold it. It's amazing.
Well, because like Cerulean was like, do we want to like, she was like desperately like, do we want to appraise it or anything? And Dianna and Gary were both like, nope.
That was so funny.
I tried. I was pushing hard.
You tried to get rid of something that is not yours, and that's not cool. If you were that worried about getting money, you need to offer up something of yours.
Alex, you need to remember, if you give a mouse a cookie.
It's a fair point.
I'm Anthony. I play Arnold, and I had so many favorite parts from last episode. Like seriously, I have like this new sheepish best friend in my band who's amazing. But I think one of my favorite parts was how we were all working together to cast a spell to charm the Mallard of Madness, and then ended up completely screwing ourselves by succeeding. I thought that was so funny. I was just like, oh. We distracted. We did everything right. We did everything right and failed utterly. It's the best.
But in our defense, we bounced back.
Oh, we bounced back so perfectly.
Again,
like
in a beautiful.
Immediately after, everybody just pulled together again.
Oh, wonderful! It was amazing. That was one of my favorite parts. Though.
Beautifully performed alley-oop.
Yes.
It was particularly good. I loved Cerulean's expression when I was like, when the gorilla was like, oh, well, this would be the Mallet of Madness. And you saw her face like, oh my God. So let's get into it. You are all, or were, I should say, past tense, enjoying your soft opening of Troll Skull Manor. You had some people from the neighborhood coming in. Captain Rain obviously was your first guest, your first paying customer. And she was chatting with Gareth. What were the rest of you doing when this explosion went down? When the outside sort of like erupted into fire and smoke?
I imagine that Cerulean was like walking around with a clipboard, like making sure everything was done, just making sure that everything was in place, that guests had been checked off. Real just party planner.
Real nerd shit. Did you make it in like fantasy Excel? Did you have like color coded tabs?
Okay, excuse me. Yes, but no, she totally would have. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Fantasy Excel.
Mel, what about you?
I think Mel would kind of be standing up. You remember the first episode where Mel was like high above watching all the shit go down? I would definitely do that again.
Okay.
Because I don't want to talk to people.
Sure. Let's say that because you had a fair budget for your reconstruction of Troll Skull. I think that they actually, per Mel's request, built a single table and chair on a staircase, sort of like Hawkeye's Nest from that Marvel feature, where you can like ascend some stairs, and then maybe they're on like a rope that you can pull up so nobody can come up and talk to you, and you can just sit like 15 feet against the wall.
Yeah, you can only get here if you can tightrope 15 meters. Nice. Good
luck. Okay, so you were up there. Perfect. Arnold, something with the stage, I'm guessing?
I mean, I would imagine that Ronald and I are back to back, like Huey Lewis in the News playing like the fantasy version of Power of Love. Just like, like I imagine we're rocking out to that, thinking that the explosions are people setting off fireworks because our performance is so explosive.
Okay.
And then not.
So you found yourself like back to back with this half orc. You're like hammering like hard on your loot, and this man is bongoing for his life. But unfortunately, he's a half orc. So like the more enthusiastic he got about his performance, the more you had to hunch over your loot as you found yourself like bearing his weight, which is it was substantial. For are all poised really well to see and hear this explosion outside. It is loud, Arnold, and I will say like immediately beyond fireworks. Like the intent is very clear. It is an explosion. Now, Troll Skull itself stays relatively unharmed. A few of the windows are blown in, especially on the front facing the yard. But mostly it's
fantasy insurance.
but mostly it's the rattling of tables and the sudden like jump scare inside as everybody sort of like shouts. Yeah, exactly.
I just imagine the music stops for a second and just like everybody's like,
Well,
Yeah, Arnold pulls out a record and scratches it.
So, yeah, I'd imagine we'd stop him like, was that us?
So Captain Rain is actually first out of her seat, and she goes headed straight for the door and opens it. And the inside of Troll Skull Tavern is lit by a wash of sooty orange glow, as you all see the reflection of an actual fireball mushrooming into the open air of Troll Skull Alley. And there are like more screams and cries, and general chaos erupts into the tavern as people move to the windows, move away from the windows, rush to the door, press against Captain Rain as they're like, "What happened? What do you think?" And she's trying to like beat them back, but also like summon the guard. She's got two fingers in her mouth and is whistling for the city watch, and it's general chaos. However, Mel, being somebody that was sort of up and elevated, you've got a better view of the alley, and you can see a handful of details coming from the clearing smoke. They're very indistinct and very difficult to make out. The first thing you see are bodies, and not an inconsequential number of them. I'm thinking like 4 to 5. Lying on the crooked cobbles of Troll Skull Alley, and you see active fires in your now is your neighborhood, starting to take over some houses.
Yeah. So I would respond that that there's active fire certainly in nearby alley, and it looks like there's a lot of people or bodies, a lot of people. Clearly coughing from the smoke.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You can't inhale it like that. You got to breathe shallow, get low.
Incredible role playing.
yeah, you got to get low.
I would tell her that too. Like you
Get
gotta,
low.
you don't want to breathe all that in. It's not good.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Not good for your lungs. Yes, indeed. Stop, drop, and roll. If you
Cerulean, in front of one of the stores, there is a large trough of water, big as like what you would assume like 2 whiskey barrels worth of water. It is not one of the stores that is on fire, but the lids are closed on the container.
Are there people like in the fire? Like on the ground?
No. You see still forms on the cobbles in front of you, and some fires in the houses. You don't hear any screams of help or pain, or like nobody's. This.
There's no baby in the building.
This is still a comedy show. Nobody is actively burning to death in front of me.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Critically Stupid. My flesh.
Really quick, while Cerulean is doing this, Arnold, Mel, Gareth, would you leap to action, or would you stay sort of where you are? What's the vibe?
That depends on if any of the bottles behind the bar broke during the explosion.
I don't think so. I mean, the explosion was only some of the windows were damaged, so like the only liquor in danger would be in the tankards of the guests' flasks, which they paid for already. So
then that's no longer my problem. I would indeed go out and see what's going on.
Okay, Arnold, Mel.
So I would look at Ronald and I'd be like, "Watch our stuff. I have to help my friends." And I run out and I go, to see Cerulean and what she's up to, basically.
Okay.
So.
Can I see them from where I'm at?
Yeah, pretty well. There's a couple of higher windows in the tavern of Troll Skull that you've got sort of like a downward perspective on, but I will say like they are sort of moving towards the edges of your overall scope, because you can only see some of Troll Skull from where you're sitting.
Okay.
I'm trying so hard not to blast all this glowing goop everywhere. It's taking a lot of willpower.
This is a family show. I don't.
Anyway, sorry. Please continue.
God damn it, Anthony!
Man,
All right, Mel.
wasn't ready.
Part of me thinks I might want to keep my vantage point, but if I can't see them, it's not. I think I would. Can I, Cerulean? Are we still like linking up? I think
We
I
still
would.
FaceTiming?
Yeah, exactly. You got your iPhone or whatever. I would probably let you know what's going on down there. Do you need my help? Or would you prefer I stay up here and keep an eye out on? And we don't know where the explosion came from. I'm not going to be able to see you guys for too much longer if you go too much further.
Okay, so I would look around for a minute, see if I see anybody moving around before I respond. Is there anybody that looks sketchy around me?
Give me a perception check, please.
Is there anybody that looks fiery?
I believe that I probably see no one.
Can
8.
I?
No, the smoke is quite thick and is obscuring the street, the buildings. You know, you've got smoke and then like indistinct wreaths of flames starting to move up some of these buildings. All of which to say it is too busy to see any one like person.
And can I see if there's anyone like sketchy floating around? Because I'm higher up and I have better vision.
Give me a perception check as well. Let's find out.
12.
Okay, no. Similarly to Cerulean, like the smoke is very thick, and I would say that maybe your eye is caught by the fire, being like new homeowners in this very closely packed part of town. That might be something that would be alarming to you. I
mean, I never wanted the place, and I'm assuming again we have fantasy homeowners insurance. So honestly, we might make out with more money if we just let the thing fucking burn.
Call fantasy 911.
I, on the other hand,
Gareth
like,
just turns around.
Arnold would run out.
Yeah, Gareth turns around.
My friends are on fire! And I scream and I look at Captain Rain and I'm just like, what do we do in case of fire? Do you have fire department here?
Okay, so Captain Rain ignores you. She is currently dishing out orders left, right, and center to a couple of city guards who came running. Cerulean, you see these big water buckets, and you see standing in the smoke a larger column of flame sort of rising to start consuming a building close to you.
Okay, so I'm going to use shape water. I can take a 5x5 square. I'm going to take one barrel at a time and work on the base of that fire.
Okay, that's fine. We don't have to go into the you quell a lot of the fire. Let's just say that. From the street, you hear shouts and wagons rolling up to be what you assume to be sort of like this town's equivalent of like fire wagons. Clearly,
fire department.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly, the city is like, I think that might just be the fire department. But whatever it is, like clearly Waterdeep has got systems in place. They're coming to help. Arnold, you notice the bodies. You have run out. You were going to talk to Captain Rain, but Captain Rain was busy, and you almost trip on them. Dark forms lying on the street. Really sad. You don't recognize any of them. They were all strangers to you.
I burst into tears. Okay, and I definitely don't recognize any of them.
No.
So I look around and I see her water bending. I can't do anything to help that. So I look around. Do I see anything else that would be interesting? I'm looking for like water, anything I could do to help, like a hose, literally anything at this point.
Yeah, there's next to these buckets of water that Ceruleans found, there's like a little, like a regular sized bucket that you feel like you could start throwing onto a building. And as you're doing this, crews of people from these wagons are coming in and starting to like do the same thing with like chains of buckets and
like larger.
Yeah, exactly. So like bit by bit, the scene calms down. The fires are taken under control. It's less smoke and fire and starts turning into smoke and steam. The inhabitants of Troll Skull fade from your tavern back into the street to take stock of the damage. The Wicked Wares and Wiles store has some significant damage to the front, but it's pretty superficial. Like similarly to Troll Skull, maybe replace a couple windows.
I burst into tears again.
First into more tears.
There is a. Sorry, go ahead, Cerulean.
Do I notice anything in particular about the bodies?
How so?
Are they all wearing black clothing?
They are now.
They human? Are they bird?
That face.
There are a number of races. Bessie, some of them are humans. Some of them, there appears to be like a gnome or two. No birdmen that you can see.
Surely no gorillas.
Not a single gorilla. Rest easy. There are two bodies sort of like stacked next to each other, almost like they perished together.
Oh, it's like the guys in Pompeii.
One of them is clad in very charred, very beaten up black armor. And he is laying over a gnome.
Is Sylvie, is that what's his face? Okay, I run over to that body and I'm like pushing the big dude off.
Okay, it is a human. It is not a half. Again, nobody you recognize. One thing that you do recognize immediately, though, is the garb that this fresh corpse is wearing. Looks identical to the black armored mercenaries that you saw dead in the warehouse just before you set that on fire a couple days ago.
And that was
the Zentarim.
Zentarim. Okay.
The way you said fresh corpse it sounded like the fresh corpse of Bel Air.
Now that's a show I would watch.
The worst part is that my brain did that too.
Nice.
And I'm really disappointed in it.
Your neighbors. Sorry, go ahead. Mel.
I think you might have answered. I'm sorry, but like, can we tell where the initial I know there's residual fires, but are we able to tell where the initial explosion hit?
That's a great question. I would love an investigation roll from you, Bessie. That's going to be in your skills.
You said an investigation. 19.
Ooh, that's actually quite good. Okay. The cobblestones surrounding these two figures that I just described to Cerulean are cracked and smoking. And even I will go so far as to say some of them immediately around the bodies are still red. Your neighbors from Troll Skull move back into the alley, start identifying their stores, and you hear the sound of gentle sobbing. And you turn to see not Arnold for once, the proprietor of Corellion's Crown, sitting on the staircase leading up to what once was their shop, but is now a twisted ruin of charred stems and blown out glass. And they are holding what used to be a teapot, but is cracked and burned and very much charred.
And you said that the storefront for this particular that's close to the area where it looks like the initial explosion.
Yeah, you would imagine that if the two people perished in the middle of the street, this was probably the closest store. It was probably within 10 feet.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what the target was.
As you are watching this proprietor of Corellion's Crown sob over their teapot, you see a fresh wave of guardsmen come in from one of the alleys, and you hear a voice start rapping out orders in a Scottish brogue, and you turn to see a red mohawked helmet make its way through the smoke and soot as Barnabas Blastwind strolls onto the scene and takes charge. Standing just behind him is a tall human with pale, wispy facial hair that he's curated into a would-be beard, and he is furiously taking notes on a notepad. If you will remember, these were the two of the three people who interrogated you in the cells that they pulled you right after you emerged from the sewers after finding Floon.
Do we hear bees?
No bees yet, but there is always time for bees.
Question, Gareth, who went back inside, by the way, Does Gareth notice any kind of reaction from the ghost house about this explosion?
It's a great question.
That's a good question.
I think you would have noticed a handful of tables and chairs being scooted abruptly back from the blown out windows.
Okay, like away from the windows?
Right, yeah, but that's,
Okay.
I think, the extent of it, because your house is not actively on fire.
Word. Tight. I guess Gareth is just going around like tending to the patrons who are cowering under tables, like still serving. Like, can I get you anything while you're out?
Okay, yeah, you see a very striking human woman with like long hair cowering, and she's like holding a glass of wine, and she's shaking so bad that it's like sopping, it's like spilling up over her fingers, and she looks up at you with huge eyes and says, "No, I'm fine."
Okay, well, as soon as you finish that one, let me know and I'll get you a refill. Not free, but I'll get you one anyway.
Not free.
We're running a business here, damn it.
Holy
Not a
shit.
charity.
Okay, let's get into it.
Cerulean can see the proprietor, right?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to walk on over to them. Remind me of their name again.
I don't think you ever found out, which might make this conversation a little awkward.
Hey, you.
Oh, shit. Hey, bud.
How's it going, my best friend in the whole world?
Damn.
Right. So Cerulean just goes up as awkwardly as Katie did just now. Hey, you. I know there's not really anything that I can say right now, but is there anything I can do for you?
It is unfortunate, of course, but life is water, is it not? And water flows in and water flows out. And I built this store once, and I'm sure I can build it again. Barnabas Blastwind and his tall human companion start sequestering the bodies. They've noticed the bodies in the street, and they're starting to set up a sort of like a cordoned off section. Mel, did you run out, or did you stay in the tavern? I cannot remember.
As far as I know, I'm still up top trying, just keeping an eye and just watching them. I don't know, draw chalk shapes around bodies or whatever it is they're doing.
Okay.
I think
I'd keep
that at some point I would probably. I guess I'm just kind of waiting to see if I'm
I
tired.
Cerulean would have probably said to Mel, hey, you want to be our eyes up there for a little bit longer? See if anything is going on the skirts that maybe we can't see.
Yeah, for sure. No problem. I will keep an eye out. I assume I can see better now that the smoke and everything has.
Yes, actually, now that you say that, on one of the rooftops, close to the top of the smoking ruin that was Corellian's crown, Mel, you see a hunched figure emerge through the smoke, not moving, it has no weapons drawn, but it is staring down at this scene that you see Arnold and Cerulean partaking in.
Okay. I would let Cerulean know that I see a figure. It doesn't appear to look like it's gonna hurt anybody, but I'll keep an eye on them, and obviously I'll just shoot them if I have to.
Sure.
I would have given you all the deets. I would have told you everything that I saw from where I was.
I'm gonna ask. So are they shrouded in shadow, or are they like?
They're
like if a light were shown?
Probably. I mean, it is daytime, so they're not like hiding in the night. It's just very smoky and hard to see sort of everywhere in the alley right now.
This whole time, of course, like I always have Cerulean like in my periphery, just like kind of looking over her as if like she's like the guy, like helps us out. And like I imagine, I'm pretty perceptive as a storyteller and a person in general. I'd probably see her keeping an eye on something, and I want to know if I can look like, because what Arnold will do is look up and be like, oh no, someone's in danger. And I'd think like this person, someone's on the roof who's like, oh, there's a big fire and this explosion, something terrible's happening. And I kind of want to like start running in that direction as if to like get near them.
Okay.
Because
I see the vibes. As you run sort of like across the street, looking up, you hear a soft sound coming from an alley away from this sort of like explosion. And it's a child's voice, and it's going blam.
Some kid in an alley like, that's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life.
You turn a corner and there is a small human boy bent over something in an alleyway and is making those sounds.
I see that. So okay, so I go and I stop and I'm like, I love that, and I say, hey, watch this, and I cast like hang on, let me see. So I cast my minor illusion and I kind of just start making similar sounds, and I'm like, I love this.
Okay.
And I'm like I do this all the time, and I look at just to like talk to him, and I'm like, you seem cool.
So he turns and his eyes go huge, and you can see his face is streaked with soot, cut through with like lines of sweat. Like he was involved, at least in the periphery of this explosion. He is unharmed because he's a kid, and this is like fucking comedy podcast,
Family show.
But as he turns to you, you see he is holding a necklace of brilliant, gleaming orange orbs.
I'm no longer in the building. I'm coming outside. No, I'm kidding.
I can sense the
that is like, if they are gems, they're priceless. Like each of them is the size of an avocado pit.
Okay.
And he says, "Whoa, that's so cool. That's like the sound that these things make, but like real."
I'm like, yeah, I heard it, but I didn't see. So I look at him, I'm like, I didn't see what did it. Do you know what did it? Also, that's a really cool necklace or whatever that is. I suggest, there's a lot of stuff going on back here. Maybe you should tuck that into your shirt a little. Just.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I heard the explosion. I heard it go, wow, and then I heard it go, and then somebody was like, ah! And then I heard a bloop, and then I found this in like a water barrel. Oh. So like, yeah, you're right. It's probably really valuable. And he puts it on his neck. As soon as he does, he goes, ooh, and then he separates. He's like, oh, it's hot. Sorry.
Strange. But I want you to know that when you were doing the little sound effects, so when you scream, your mic didn't pick it up, so you were just like,
Don't worry, I'll add a Wilhelm scream in post. It'll be great.
So I look at him and I'm like, okay, so can I? Okay, I'm trying to. Let me see if this is. I want to persuade him to
invite him to our bar.
Okay, so no, I'm going to realize that he's getting hurt by the necklace, and the fact that he just told me that he found it somewhere. I'm gonna say, hey, and I want to try to persuade him to give me the necklace because it's dangerous. And I'm like, actually, hey, how about you just give that to me and I'll put it somewhere safe in I have this whole home over here. And I was like, so I can even be like, look, I'll give you this, you can hold this thing, and I'll trade him like one of my instruments that I have, like a little drum or something.
Okay, give me he says, well, now hang on a second, mister. Dustin Eggo ain't no fool. Mama didn't raise an idiot, right? So I know this is valuable, so you're gonna have to give me some good stuff for it.
He's a kid.
Roll that persuasion check, and let's see if he'll take that instrument.
I got 18.
Oh shit. Yeah. Okay.
Kids are pretty dumb. They'll take that.
He's pretty stupid. So you hold out. Which instrument do you hold out?
What do I have? I'm just for now. I'll give him my lyre.
Okay, the one signed by Volo Gale.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It's the most. That's why I'm gonna, and that's what I think would be the persuasive part of this. And so this is someone's famous signed this. Look, it's right there. I've been watching it. It's been through so much. We met a beholder while I was holding.
Whoa, whose signature is that? Someone famous.
Dustin reaches out and almost snatches it from your grasp. Excuse me. And is like, wow, look at this. This is, I can't read it, but it looks really cool.
I'm like, it's worth everything, like literally billions of dollars.
Without looking, he takes the necklace off his head and hands it to you.
Okay, so I really just want to ask him, like, so you said you found this in where did you find this? What happened?
I
Like,
found it in a water barrel down there. And he points sort of like towards the end of one of the alleys that looks out over this scene.
Okay.
And you can actually see there is a barrel underneath like a rain gutter. Yeah,
Okay.
the city watch is sort of closing in this alley. How overt are you being with this necklace? Are you out and showing it to everybody? Or are you keeping it on the sly?
No, I'm gonna say like my new go-to from the treasure ship that we totally heisted is I throw things into my ukulele and I throw it on my back and I so that's what I'm like, it's there. I throw it in the hole and I walk to Cerulean. That's
you got to show it to your best rogue friend to appraise it for you. That's
of course, naturally. That's fine.
That's the plan.
Always.
Cerulean, standing talking to the proprietor of Corellian's Crown, you hear a commotion.
Isn't it Corellian? Isn't that person Corellian?
No, Corellian is the elvish god of nature.
Obviously.
How did you not fucking know that, you scrub? Anyway.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, now back to us who know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Let the real nerds step in.
Ow. Thank you.
You hear a commotion from inside, and there are a handful of clerks, apprentices, or people that you feel like were working at the shop who are just starting to like sift through the rubble, and they're actually pulling out some plants that still look alive, and they're stacking them by the door. You feel like for the purposes of like cataloging and regrowing and stuff like that.
Okay. Do I see Arnold coming up to me?
Yes, Arnold comes up to you and appears through the smoke, his uke jangling.
And I'm just like, I met this little boy who was making the coolest, like, and I just kind of do that for a minute, and then I'm like, but
60. Wait.
Yeah,
60 full seconds.
Uninterrupted.
And
he like never does the same
just
time twice.
slowly,
It's a new one
it
every
goes
time.
from like really interested to just slowly like
just beatboxing and explosion. I'm scatting for a solid minute, and then I'm like, but then I'm like,
start beatboxing at some point.
So I'm like, but there's a barrel over here, and that's where this was found. It fell from somewhere. There's a little boy over here who might have more information, but I just wanted to, I need you. I'm freaking out at this point. I was like, something happened. Also, there's a thing. Look at it. Don't put it around your neck. It burns a little or something bad.
I'm gonna take a look. Well, no. Okay, actually, I'm gonna say, put that back on your back. Let's go inside and let's go upstairs.
Upstairs? There's no time for stairs. I'm playing on my ukulele. but okay.
Quit making it jangle.
You're doing the air guitar because you gave away your loot.
Mel, sitting still in your raven's nest, you see a stumbling figure emerge from a sunken stairwell in Troll Skull Alley. They are wearing what used to be fine clothes, elegant robes, a nice like brocaded shirt, but they are like completely soot smeared and ashen, and they look very, very pale as they emerge from the stairwell, and they're standing sort of like off by themselves, almost like shell shocked.
Why? Did something happen?
Go back to extorting innocent people.
I'm not extorting anyone. They're patrons in my place of business.
Is this as Arnold and I are like making a cut?
Yeah, sort of like at the same time. I just want to involve Mel.
Yeah, no. So, and they're just chilling?
They're standing there with like a 1,000-yard stare.
They now have PTSD.
Correct.
Okay, so I would go to Cerulean and let her know that there's a person that I think that she should probably bring back with her. They don't look well.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at Arnold and I'm gonna say, go in there, go put that somewhere safe. We will deal with that later. Just don't let anybody see it. And I'm gonna walk.
You're telling him to go back to Troll Skull, right?
Yeah, like
Okay,
they'll
okay,
put
okay.
it in your.
So I'm
they'll put it in
immediately
your
like,
room.
I'm gonna show Gareth immediately. I will. Don't worry. I will talk to Gareth about this, and we're gonna solve this mystery of the fire necklace of doom. Like we're gonna
Okay,
get
just don't
there.
do it in front of anybody. And
Well, I'm gonna do it in front of Gareth. Like I can't do it behind him. He wouldn't see the necklace.
Arnold makes his way to Troll Skull.
come away.
There's sort of like a general ebb of like guardsmen and victims and people sort of also going to Troll Skull. You are starting to notice one of the few buildings left in Troll Skull Alley unmarred by this, or generally unmarred by this explosion. So it's turning into sort of like a triage hub for the guardsmen, who are like, this person needs immediate help. This person needs some help. I'm sorry, not Phasma, fucking idiot. Rain is there. Leading that triage and is laying out the people who need immediate medical attention, like on your deck, and is of course apologizing profusely to Floon for using up all of your business space. But Floon's like, "Oh, bro, like it's totally fine. Like that dude's bleeding from like his face, and like that shit's scary, man." But Arnold, you roll in and you find Gareth hunched over the bar, screaming at somebody. If you're not gonna buy another drink, you have to leave.
Well, hey, hold on. I'm going to draw the line and say that you're welcome to stay in the bar, provided you have already bought a drink.
Okay, so I'm sorry, let me revise this. You go into the bar to find Gareth leaning over a windowsill, screaming at the dead, unconscious people on the deck. If you haven't bought something, you have to leave.
Inside seating is for paying customers only. If you're bleeding out, do it outside.
That's why they call it bleeding out, not bleeding in.
1-star review on Fantasy Yelp.
We're a restaurant, not a hospital.
So I'm like,
wait, we're not even a restaurant. We're a bar/library, not a hospital.
So I'm just like, Gareth, and I'm like, look at this, and I forget to even say, I'm just like shaking my, ukulele in his face, just like hearing the rattle and at his, I imagine he knows what a rattling, gem sounds like, though. I don't know.
You're goddamn right, Gareth. Gareth leaps over the bar.
So I'm just like, so I tell him the whole story. I'm just like, I found this, and Cerulean didn't care. She didn't want to know about my gem. She just like, nobody ever cared. I just want to show people the cool stuff I did.
I would love to hear all about your shiny necklace in private. Let's go down to the basement and let's admire its beauty.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Season 2 of Critically Stupid. Woo! Thank you so much for being here. Give me just a hot minute. I'll have you right back to the show. My name is Alexander James. I am your Dungeon Master and friendly neighborhood architect. I've designed all the buildings in your neighborhood. You don't know that. They're uncredited under my name, but I did design them. They call me the Wallsmith. That's just a fact. It's not even a joke. As per usual, we are playing a loose interpretation of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, an official Dungeons & Dragons module written by Chris Perkins, Scott Fitzgerald Gray, Kim Mohan, and Michelle Carter. If you or any of your buddies are looking to get into D&D, I highly recommend you go to dnd.wizards.com. Check out all of the amazing supplies there. They've got dice, they've got pencils, they have a fully operational scalpel set that are branded with like the D&D merch logo, which honestly I'm not quite sure what their vision was for how to use it, but it looks cool as hell and probably very sharp. So check that shit out, dnd.wizards.com. As always, you can tweet us at CritStupid to end up as a character on the show. Characters like, in this particular episode, we've got Dustin Eggo at Dustin Taylor _ on Twitter. I actually combined Dustin's first name and his adorable dog Eggo's name kind of into one character name. And we've also got Evan Austin at Evan Austin Author without an E, so just Author on Twitter. Those are both people who tweeted at the show really early on when we only had a couple episodes on YouTube. So thank you guys very much for your support and your continued support, and keep an eye out because I like to bring every episode or every character back at least once in a later episode. So you guys aren't done yet. as a new feature that we're trying in season 2 going into season 3, we're not quite sure when we're going to start it. You're going to see us using graphics, the creators on the show, little images, like new episode dropping this Friday, or currently listening to an episode of Critically Stupid. If you see those images and you share them, and you tag us as the show in them, your name will go into a pool to be a featured listener in an upcoming episode. What that's going to entail is I'm going to put your handle on the screen. I'm going to shout you out for being a listener, and then to the best of my ability, if you're obviously working on like a featured project or something you got going on in your profile, I'll chat that up to the best of my ability. Just generally thank you for listening to the show. A caveat, as per usual, if your username or handle features profanity, I probably won't use it. We're not quite a family show, but we're not a nasty McNasty's show either. That's Critically Stupid Nights coming to you season 4, I guess. Whatever. We are doing a big YouTube subscription push, trying to get to that magical number of 1,000 subscribers. If you haven't yet, I would love it if you could subscribe to the show, if you could recommend the show to a friend and recommend that they subscribe. If you could leave us a rating or a review, possibly on Spotify. We really rely on those word of mouth type vibes to push us forward in the algorithm and get us in front of new listeners who might like us or hate us, but hopefully like us. Fingers crossed. That's all I got today. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really, really glad that you tuned in. All right. I love you. Bye.
We're going to give it another go. It's a bit more zing. A bit of zing. Zing. Yeah. Ready? Hello. With a hello. No. Hello. Wait till I get through the whole thing. Ready? Hello with a billowing hilltop.
Hello.
Oh dear.
We're waiting to get through the whole thing.
No, I mean...
I thought that was the whole thing.
The whole thing is hello with a billowing hilltop. Okay. That's the whole thing. Yeah?
Okay. That was right.
That pretty much sums up the show. But if you want to find out any more, you can visit us at www.belowinghilltop. Is it com? Does anybody know?
.org.
Is it?
It's .com.
What do we do? What do we play?
There's monsters.
Does anybody remember?
Walking around.
I don't know.
And, yeah.
We will be delighted if you were to join us around our table as we play Dungeons. Is it 5th edition? Hello?
Yeah, we think so.
Yeah. Yes. We play
What was that
Dungeons
noise
and Dragons.
in the background? Sorry, that was me.
What was that noise in the background? There will be noises in the background as we play Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition through the classic Paizo adventure path, The Age of Worms. You can expect this. No! Quite a bit of this.
I'm completely lost.
This. This.
Got a bugbear in my underpants.
And one of these.
Oh dear.
We're on Apple Podcasts, and we're on Spotify, and we're on TuneIn, and you can find us on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook. And we hope you join us. Thanks very much.
So I follow him, of course.
Yeah, you guys make your way into the basement. Arnold pulls it out of his ukulele, and Gareth, it is a very simple leather string with 3 avocado-sized beads hanging from it. They are noticeably not gems. So get your disappointment out of the way now.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck no. I will say though, they are scalding to the touch.
Okay. So can I tell what the beads are like made out of material wise? Is it just like wood?
They are some sort of like glass-esque material. Not glass, but not crystal. Somewhere in the middle of those two things.
It's like how Velveeta is cheese food, but not really cheese.
It's a cheese substance.
A cheese product.
You're a cheese product.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Mel, you notice this well-dressed halfling noblewoman walk into Trollskull, sort of like moved by the ebb and flow of the crowd. And she's just standing in the middle of this tavern, like staring at the floor.
Notably not buying a drink.
You're in the basement.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah, Cerulean's just in the front, like, don't worry, the fucking mean ass rogue is gone. You can stay.
I'm not in there yet.
That's
Yeah,
also true.
Cerulean, what are you doing? Just while all of this is
I was
going on.
going towards that shell shock guy.
Oh, you were going towards. Okay. So you catch
Yeah, I
him.
sent him inside, and I went to walk towards the guy that looks like
Got
he
it.
has
Okay,
PTSD.
so it is a halfling woman who has like very elegantly, was elegantly coiffed white hair, but it is like tinged with soot and is like sort of like spiraled in disarray.
Parts of it are a little bit on fire.
And she is muttering to herself under her breath.
Can I make out what she's saying?
As you get closer, you can make out what she is saying. And she is stuttering over the word rooftops over and over again. And it almost sounds like fragments of the same sentence on like a broken record where she's like, rooftops. It came from the rooftops. It came from the rooftops. The fire came from the rooftops.
Does her Zoom also like do the thing that mine does?
New hit single. It came from the rooftops.
So I'm gonna hands up like this. Hey, honey, you doing all right over here? Is anybody home?
Yeah, she sort of looks at you, sort of like skittish and scared. She doesn't flinch away, but she's definitely apprehensive of you.
I'm going to charm person.
Okay, all right, here we go. 5th time's the charm. I will say you're choosing somebody not actively attacking any of you, so I'm hoping it's going to go well.
Yeah, so the intention behind this is to get her to listen to me long enough to calm her down.
Okay.
Not to be. No, I don't roll. You roll.
I roll? Oh shit, I do. She rolled a nat 20, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It will work. The spell will work one day.
I think I'm 0 for 5, literally. No, 0 for 3.
I really do think you're 0 for 4. That this is your 4th.
I want to cry. Okay. So it would have just been like I was going to comfortingly touch her shoulder anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have spoken soothingly.
What? Her shoulder
you go to touch your shoulder, she bites your hand.
No moss pinky.
No, she doesn't flinch away, but she doesn't really respond to your touch at all.
So I'm gonna rub her arm. Just why don't you come inside? We'll get you a warm drink, and we'll sit down and get you some food. Let's relax. Let's just get you off the street. Let's get you a little bit cleaned up. And so I'm like, I want to guide her to Troll Skull.
Okay. She is in Troll Skull. Like, that's when you guys met. So you're guiding her like to the bar, to a seat, to a vacant table or something.
I would probably
and like sit her
try
down.
to pull her like into a, not like a secluded, like creepy way, but like one of the least busy areas where she wasn't so like overstimulated.
Yeah, there's a quiet
into the library side, not necessarily the bar side.
I would say actually right underneath Mel's like perch is a really quiet corner of the library, where there's a table and then there's like a stack of books that Mel's just thrown when she was done with them because she can't be bothered to put them back on the shelf.
No, I'd have to get all the way down, and it's quiet because I like it quiet. Thank you.
Of course. As you're guiding her to this table, she stutters over one more word as she's spitting this sick beat. Rooftops. It came from the rooftops. She says, nimble right. Mel. As I try yet again to get you to come down from your fucking perch that I gave you that I'm already regretting. You give me a perception check, please.
Now I'm less motivated to
I know, it was a fucking mistake on every front from me.
13.
Okay. You overhear a conversation between two of these apron-clad boys as they sort of like move in with all of the victims from this fireball, and you actually recognize him from the edges of your periphery as you were watching over this scene play out in the alley, as two of the shop boys from Corellion's Crown, the plant store that is currently an ashen husk of its former self. And you hear one of them say to the other, Now, Evan, you must tell the City Watch. It's quite dangerous if you keep this information to yourself." And the other says, "No, I can't risk it. I can't risk it. My family's in danger. My father's wanted for some crimes. I can't." Shh. And they are sort of like quietly to themselves, like shuffling along the bar, keeping, I will say, a fair distance from Captain Rain and her sort of like watch crew.
Hey, quick question. How old are these kids? Are we carding people?
You actually see Floon sort of like rush after them, like, "Whoa, little dudes, like, I'm going to have to give you some hot chocolate or something. We can't risk our fantasy license."
Our fantasy drinking license?
Yeah. They are probably 10-ish.
Yeah, okay, they're old now. That's fine. They're double digits. It's cool. It's fantasy.
So who have we left for a little bit? Let's go down to Arnold and Gareth. How are we doing with this necklace? Gareth, you've grabbed it. You felt it. It is hot to the touch. Beyond, I will say, like any lingering flame, like it's been several minutes since the fire was doused. So there's no more question about like, oh, maybe this was heated up in the blaze.
Right.
Like, no, these are hot rocks.
Okay. I don't suppose I would be able to appraise it either monetarily or have any background from my wizard village as to like, oh yeah, I knew a dude with a bunch of hot rocks on a necklace
Okay,
once.
that's an interesting angle. Tell you what, give me an Arcana check.
All right, Arcana is.
Can I also do that since I'm
+1.
half elf from magic and from a village of people?
Why don't you give me an insight check?
Insight
Let's
check?
approach
That's
this from two separate
sure.
angles.
All right, I rolled a 13 +1. I rolled a 14.
Okay, 14. Arnold.
19 plus 3, 22.
Whoa, big ups on the insight roll. Okay, Arnold, with your 22 insight, you put together a couple of context clues from this necklace. Number one, the kid said that he grabbed it from the barrel, which means likely as not it was dropped. And you managed to put that together with the figure on the rooftop.
Of course.
So likely as not, whatever figure on the rooftop dropped this necklace into the thing. You also managed to put together, you're looking at the spacing of these rocks on this leather string, right? And they are uneven. They're a little bit lopsided. You get the feeling that there were once 5 rocks on this necklace, where there are now currently 3. So it is missing 2 beads.
Okay.
Gareth, you remember a wizard in your village who was pushed a little bit away from the council. There was like a little bit of a commotion, a little bit of drama, because this person managed to set a neighbor's house on fire, doing experiments with encasing spells in stone.
Oh,
and it was a really crude experiment. It did not go well for him, but he did successfully manage to encapsulate a handful of spells in stone to be thrown, almost sort of like a fantasy grenade.
Holy shit.
So
well, okay. I mean, I report what I found to Arnold. Like, oh yeah, I had this neighbor once who, you know those things people write with letters. Apparently, there are magic ones that if you carve into stuff, it like puts spells into it. I don't know. I never really figured it out. But anyway, my neighbor burned his neighbor's house down. Not me, the other neighbor on the other side. So we don't really exile people. That's rude. So we just called him names for the rest of his life. But I'm pretty sure it was a similar sort of deal.
I'm pretty sure name calling is also rude.
So is burning down people's houses.
So I looked to Gareth and I'm just like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I think we found the rest of their ammo. I wonder if they were planning on destroying more people, or I don't know why we have this. This is terrible, but
yeah, I think if I had a bunch of magical fantasy grenades, the number one thing I would do is not drop them into a barrel.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, why did they dispose of these?
Arnold, I will give you with your objectively very good insight check. This necklace is worth a fat stack.
Whatever my next question of my
whatever you're holding
monetarily appraisal.
So
not common.
I immediately am just like, honestly, I don't trust myself with this sort of explosive thing. I think you should hold on to it. And I just like kind of shifted over to Gareth.
Gareth does like a sleight of hand and like it's just gone. It's
Yes.
out of there.
Okay.
Yeah, you go
You
ahead.
got it.
No problem.
Cerulean, you hear your halfling noblewoman stutter over the word nimble right a handful of times. Do you remember the very few times I've used this word before?
Yes, when you look at somebody do something athletic and you're like, wow, that guy's nimble, right?
No.
It was pretty good.
If you make that the episode name, I'm gonna murder you.
I am filled with a cold rage that would I
If you do it,
Ooh. All right.
it's not a person. Is it a place?
So it's pretty esoteric. So I do not blame any of you for not remembering. When Arnold and Mel were being held at Crossbow Bolt by the pirate captain,
Okay.
Arnold said, Sylvie sent me. I'm here to help. Essentially, he did it with more babbling and hysterics than I just did.
He was also a robot disguise.
And he was also
right?
he was a creature of cog and bone. If you will remember from this sort of like teleporty situation where Gareth kissed a dude. But oh yeah. Anyway,
dude, in the head, a whole bunch.
Yeah, you kissed him right, really good. Anyway, the captain said, "I know for a fact that the House of Inspired Hands only has 3 nimble rights. So you expect me to believe that 2/3 of them are here on my ship." This was moments after something upstairs exploded. So I just want to put those two facts together for you. So you, in the combining of like tales that you and Gareth and Arnold and Mel shared, I imagine that fact would have come together. So there is a distinct chance that Cerulean would have that word rattling around her lexicon.
So Cerulean looks, at this point she'd been trying to calm her down, but when she says nimble right, she stops and she like tries to make eye contact with her if she's, looking wherever. You just said nimble right. Do you mean the automaton type thing?
I don't think she responds to you because she's very shocked. She's really far gone. I will say that she probably keeps folding over that word again and again, and from the rooftops, it came from the rooftops, etc.
Okay.
Mel, would you like to investigate the 2 boys standing beneath your... I'm going to burn it to the ground. I'm going to something's going to happen and it's going to fall off the wall. Like it was not anchored to a stud and the drywall is going to collapse.
Don't take it away.
I'm desperate for you to get involved. I'm really, because you're the come on.
Where
They are sitting
are
at
these little shits?
They are sitting at a table, probably 15 feet away from you on the floor.
So here's the thing, Bess. You're trying to lure me down with kids, and I fucking hate kids.
I was gonna say that's a weird strategy to go for.
All right, I tell you what, you can shout at them.
Hey, you fucks!
Yeah, exactly.
You want to come up into my treehouse?
No. The opposite of that.
Hey, 2 unsolicited children, come up here and talk to me, an adult.
Hey, 2 children alone in a bar.
I guess I'll get down.
Fuck yeah. Let's go. Force
Mission
somebody to do
accomplished.
something against their will. Good DM points for Alex. You hop down, and everybody's like, whoa, there's a person up there.
Holy
Floon
shit.
particularly blown away. Completely forgot about you.
That's how I like
Flute's
it.
just like, hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah, Floon's like, what's up, bro? My
And
name's
I'm
Floon.
like, you never saw me.
Okay, word. Batman rules.
Yeah. Talk about
But these two kids are sitting at a table drinking water that Floon has given them, and there is a bill on the table for the water. But they are conversing quietly to themselves.
God, how the fuck do you talk to children?
Got boy find $1.
There's the episode title right there.
I'd say, hey, I don't want you to be worried or scared. You're welcome to stay here as long as you need. I overheard that you guys were scared about something, and I want to help you. I can help you, and I know you don't want to talk to the guard, and that's fine. I get it. I mean, the guard is like scary AF, right? So I totally understand, but I'm worried about you guys. It sounded serious. And it sounds like you should probably tell somebody. So talk to me.
One of the kids immediately turns to you so fast that he like spills a little water, and he's like, "Oh yes, it's very important, and we would like to stay here. The redhead man said we had to pay for the water, which I thought was a little bit. I didn't realize that there were any restaurants that you had to pay for the water, but yes, we would like to stay here. We're very scared. Evan here saw something, but he's devilishly afraid, and we must convince him to help us because, like, I think it might crack the case. I'm a little bit of a sleuth myself, and it's always about the clues." And you see Evan like stare daggers into this kid like he would stab him if he could.
I mean, I feel that. I've been there, Evan. I get it. I would let you do not worry about paying for the water. I'll take care of that. I am one of the owners here. Yeah, right. So you don't need to worry about that. And like I said, you can stay. At some point, maybe we want to find your parents, but I know you're scared, and I got it. This is scary. Like there was a fire. There's a lot of body. Like that's terrifying. I swore, but these are children.
That shit's fucking scary, dude.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna be like, that's fucking terrifying, right? like I completely get it, and truly, I want to help you. I'm in a position where I can help you, and you shouldn't have to carry that alone because that's a lot to carry. So let me help you.
Okay, Bestie, give me a persuasion roll. And I'll tell you what, give it to me with advantage. Means you're going to roll a d20 twice and take the higher of the two, because you've done a fairly decent job of tying this to logic.
I love that rapper.
Oh, that was a nat 20. What?
Shit. Okay.
I am
tremendous.
So persuasive. Children love me.
Evan looks to you and says, Now you must promise not to tell anyone, okay? Because my father, he's wanted for a little bit of theft, and if you tell someone, I'm afraid he'll go to prison for the rest of my life. Waterdeep's a very unforgiving town when it comes to
the rest of his life.
Yes, he will not make bail until I am 80 years old.
Well, you don't need to worry about that. I'm going to tell you a little secret. I've done some stuff too. So your secret's safe.
In like an effort to comfort this child, like, listen, I've killed a few people.
I've killed some people. I'd like to keep that on the DL. I would. I don't want to go to prison because then I got to break out of prison, and then I got to
roll
whole
a nat
thing.
20.
That's just a
She
hassle.
did roll a nat 20. So like, if you want to assure this child by your murder affidavits, it works.
I'm not going to tell the kid like I killed some people that
I
deserve it, by the way.
allegedly killed some people.
Like there were bodies that were allegedly left this earth not by natural causes.
We're the same. We both unalive people. We get it.
It's all good. So Evan looks to you and says, yes, just after the blast. It was the damnedest thing. I was on the second floor and I was looking down at the street, and I saw a man in a dark cloak and dark armor. And he was rifling through the pockets of one of the dead folk, and he pulled something out of a pocket and limped out towards the street. And he points north. But he says, but I didn't want to tell anybody because I wasn't sure if he was a bad man or if he was a good man. But I'm devilishly afraid.
For reference, what direction did Mel see the cloaked figure on the rooftop in? You said that guy took off north.
Angled roughly north.
Particular.
So we have currently a handful of clues. I want to go over them with you briefly. You have a magical necklace that Arnold found in a water barrel. You have a mysterious figure hunched over from a rooftop looking down over the scene. You have an eyewitness who saw a victim of the attack take something from a corpse and leave. You have a nimble right, a reference to a nimble right saying it came from the rooftops. I will say one key piece of investigative space that you guys haven't really reached out to is the central corpses of this attack. Cerulean was looking at them briefly, but then I had a lot of clues that I wanted to like throw at them, and at that point Cerulean was the only person on the scene, so unfortunately I had to like load them onto her, and then I sort of parsed them out. But that's sort of like the one area where you could find a lot of more knowledge about like everything going on.
Are there still corpses out there? I thought they were like being gathered up.
So you have victims at Troll Skull on your deck, but the corpses themselves are in the midst of the city guard and Barnabas Blastwind and his companion, who are sort of like heading up the scene out there.
So, good, Katie.
Cerulean.
Is Adam out there?
You'd have to go out there and check.
Okay. I'm gonna grab Arnold.
Okay, well, I was gonna say I'm leaving the basement because I'm like my first thought was like, it's the bucket. There's something in the bucket. Okay. And I'm like run upstairs like I gotta go see this bucket.
Hit the word bucket harder, bro. God damn.
Bucket.
Gareth, headed behind the bar, you see Ronald the half-orc stand up tentatively on the stage and start beating out the tentative beats to
Through the fire and the flames.
Yeah, Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force, because apparently that's the only song my brain can conjure at this moment.
Hell yeah.
It's the only one I know by them, so here we go.
Mel, headed up to your hidey hole, you get up there. I don't know if you have like a rope or whatever. Like you get up there quick and look out over this alleyway.
Real nimble, if you will.
Just in
Pretty
time
nimble, right?
to God damn it, Gary, and I will set you on fire if you interrupt one more time. Love you. Just in time to see that shadowy figure on the rooftops stand up, and it is tall, at least, even from your vantage point, you can tell over 6 feet, and spindly. Its limbs are all very thin, and its torso even looks like fresh taffy pulled beyond its stretching limit.
Holy shit, an Enderman.
And then you
picturing
Don't look at it.
And then you see it lurch its way over the rooftops and leap out of sight to the north. Cerulean and Arnold, you head to the crime scene, and it is an official crime scene because Barnabas Blastwind and his companion are snapping out orders, shuffling sheets of cloth over some of the victims. The man with the peach fuzz beard is taking notes, rapid fire, and like flipping pages as Barnabas throws out fact after fact of just like things that he sees. He's like, yes, and that is a window that's broken there. Write that down.
I immediately look for Adam. Give me Adam. Do I get Adam?
All right, listen. The only reason Adam is there, is because earlier, canonically, I said that Adam walks a certain road in Waterdeep. I actually said it. I looked it up. And it is, I shit you not, 2.5 blocks from your tavern. And I did it on purpose so that you guys could have like meet cutes later. But now, obviously, it would make sense that he's fucking there. So yes,
so cute.
At the perimeter of this scene, you see a familiar man standing with a pike, and his face is sooty, and he looks very nervous because he's having a rough 4th week on the job.
Quick, Cerulean, go up and drop your books next to him.
No, so Cerulean takes her clipboard that she had picked back up at some point, throws it into Arnold's chest, and pauses for a minute. Does Adam doesn't see me, right?
He is very busy. Barnabas runs a very tight scene. So like there are like multiple orders being snapped left and right, and he's just his attention is diverted.
So would he not be concerned for my safety knowing where I live?
I don't know that you told him you live at Troll Skull.
They walked us back.
What?
When we came out from the
No, you left with Volo. Adam and Rain stayed at the
back.
police station. I don't think Adam knows that you live here.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what. Let's do this. You slam your fantasy binder into Arnold's chest, knocking the wind out of the young bard as you do so. And you strut forward onto the scene to the point where you hear Barnabas shout behind you like, "Hey, who the fuck are you?" And then you see Adam turn, and his eyes go wide as dinner plates, and his jaw literally drops. And you see him say, but you don't hear. But I think your mind like automatically feels it, and he goes, "Oh, Roxy."
So I start walking with purpose, like almost like, OMG, I see the guy I like, So I start walking with purpose, and I just grab him by the face, say, "Are you okay? You're covered in soot. Are you okay? Are you bleeding? Are you okay?" And I'm like gonna really play up the concern.
Okay. I think there's a general hubbub as Barnabas objects to the civilian strolling into his scene. But Adam looks over you, still clutched between your cheeks. And he goes, "Oh, don't worry, Sergeant. It's okay. She's with me. Her name this is Roxy. She's the best. But it's okay. Don't worry. Hi, Roxy."
Hi, Adam. Am I also covered in soot at this point when I was putting out fires?
I think you're pretty sooty. Yeah, because you've been walking around this like fresh, like fiery scene. Let's say you've got like a dramatic sort of shadowing across your face.
So I hug him really tight.
Okay.
And
he smells like sandalwood and Old Spice.
So I give him a hug, and while I'm hugging him, like I'm crying, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start asking him, "What even happened? We heard so many things, and we just don't even know what's going on. There's so many people hurt."
Adam says, "Oh gosh, I just really don't know. Like I just got here like 10 minutes ago, and Sergeant Blastwind is all over the scene, and he runs a really tight ship, Roxy. And like I know that I tell you some things that maybe I shouldn't. And Captain Rain fussed at me the other day for doing it. And so like I don't really know. I'd like there was an explosion, and I overheard Barnabas talking to Nick, and he said that they killed the gnome. And the stone was missing, and then that's all I heard. And I was really close to them, and then they overheard me tell that, and then they made me stand all the way over here at the edge of the crime scene where nothing interesting happens."
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. How about this? How about I go sweet talk the sergeant? How about we find out what's going on, and I'll relay the information to you, and that way you stay in the loop, just like you were right next to the sergeant the whole time.
Perfect. He's into this plan. Arnold, what are you doing while this all goes down?
So as soon as she slams that the binder into my chest, I'm like, I guess I'm taking notes, and I just so I'm like, broken window, duster. And I'm just like, I'm copying this guy, but I'm also looking around, and I am starting to actually take notes of what I see. So I want to know, like, what do I actually see?
Okay. You get a couple of details from this play. Number one, You actually managed to get pretty close to the guy writing notes. His name is Nick. That's who Adam was referring to.
So I'm like cheating on a test with Nick. I'm like,
yeah, you actually
I
managed
see
to like,
some broken windows.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a couple of really key notes in very fine script on his paper.
Cool.
The first thing you see is Rock Gnome Dalakar in big underlined letters. That's at the top of the page. You see the word Zentarim.
I know.
And you see the word stone written and circled.
Okay.
Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Zalakar stone. Okay. So I'm writing that all right on her notes, just like right on the
over her Excel spreadsheet. Right over, she's worked so hard.
She's worked so hard on this, but it's like, but I'm gonna say my handwriting's much better than hers. I have worked for years. It is straight calligraphy style.
Yeah, I really like to imagine Arnold. It's like very loopy. He like dots his eyes with hearts.
Yes. It's like concrete poetry when I write my notes. It's like I'm making a gnome out of my words. So I take all this information and I'm writing and I'm just like, hey Nick, does yours look this good? And I'm just like, all right. And I go and I try to find Cerulean. I'm just like, I have it, everything.
Nick's handwriting is not as good as yours, and he is chagrined about it. Cerulean, you see Arnold come up to you with a binder full of hastily scribbled notes, and he pushes it in your face. I wonder if you would feel irritation at first until you start to decipher like the notes that he's actually managed to pick up.
100%. In this moment, though, before I look at that, I'm gonna reach out to Mel and check in on her.
So I just want to stand there with a like nothing, like this is amazing. I did all this work, and she just kind of is fading, like doing something else completely.
Well, I would have done some like pat him on the cheek, and just like good job. And then my eyes would have kind of glazed over a little bit as I am actively reaching out to Mel. Mel, did you ever catch that guy? Did you ever clock where he went? The one that was on the rooftop.
So I would say, and I haven't talked to you since I talked to the little shits. I was nice to them. They don't have to know what I call them.
You only have to be nice to kids' faces.
Right.
That's
Look,
true.
A family show where we call children little craps all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a show for the whole family, not the kids.
So the parents feel good.
It's a family show if the kids are at a sleepover in another house.
Yes. So I say, listen, I need to fill you in on a few things. Somebody, I was talking to these kids who were real scared. They're they saw a figure and I would fill her in on what they said about the corpses. And I would also say, and hey, when I came back up here, that figure you and I saw before, I don't know what he is. I don't know what he is. He's tall and thin, like he's been pulled, just stretched thin. Real creepy. He just jumped up and went north. I don't see him now. I think you guys are okay. I will definitely shoot him if I see him because I'm feeling murdery. But I don't see him now. Everyone has gone north.
Okay. Are the bodies separated where she would have a vantage point of who they could be before they're like covered?
I don't think so. I think that would be one of the first things that the city guards sort of like hurry to cover up. Both in, you remember that the scene that you passed in the first episode where there were dead people in the street, like the city guard do try to like preserve the dead people from like prying eyes. So like they would have sheets to cover them up. So I don't think you'd be able to like get in there unless you wanted to talk to Sergeant Barnabas Blastwind directly and see if you could convince him to let you look at the corpses.
Yeah.
Maybe you can charm him, Cerulean.
So okay, so
That was
I'm
such a vicious clapback. Holy fuck.
That was bad. That was okay. So I'm outside. So I'm outside with her, and like she's clearly completely ignoring my beautiful notes. So
Yes.
I want to just like turn and look at Barnabas and be like, I noticed a bunch of stuff, and Nick didn't know. Like I should be on your score. Look at this? And I just like kind of show him my notes, and just I'm trying to show him and convince him that I'm really good at observing things.
For the purpose of what? Are you just showing him your notes? Or
I want to get on his good side to get him to let me in on the investigation, so maybe I can like use my eyes elsewhere. He sees that I'm very perceptive, and I have a keen eye for observation. So like maybe I would see something that he hasn't seen since I've taken such astute notes.
Okay, all right.
So persuasion, I guess.
Roll a persuasion check. Yeah.
23.
18 plus 5. Fuck
My
me.
persuasion is good.
All right.
Yeah.
So Barnabas Blastwind looks at you and says, Are you showing me the notes that you stole from my partner, pretending that they're your notes?
So
Like I told Nick to write all of those things down.
No, so I say, oh no. You're looking at level 1 of my notes, which was Nick based. Those are the roots of my notes. What I did was I watered those seeds that Nick completely neglected, and you can see the tendrils of the plant of evidence leading to all of this various, like interesting points of, this whole observation that I made. Like check it out. Like this is the crime scene as I see it, not as Nick sees it. I'm much better than him. So
Cerulean, do you want to throw something in here to give your boy a little advantage?
Yeah. So after my conversation, I tune back in and I see what's happening. So I look at the sergeant and I say, he may not look like it, but he is one of the most observant people I have ever met. He even said that a stone that he saw looked like at one point it might have been on a piece of leather thread.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. At the word stone, this dwarf sergeant's eyes light up, and he says, after a pause, "Oh, you seen the stone? So like, you know what we're talking about here,
So I flip a page in the book, and I drew a clear diagram of the stone with an arrow that says missing some, like clearly missing some stuff has happened.
It's like a dotted dash line, like.
Okay. He is willing to let you examine the bodies briefly.
Yes.
But he's got to move some stuff along, so you're only going to get a really quick look at him.
I want to look at the gnome.
Okay. Arnold and Cerulean, each, I would love a perception check, please. Arnold, you're looking at the figure lying over the gnome. Cerulean, you're looking at the gnome.
Fair enough. All right. 16.
You said perception, right?
I did.
Yo. Yeah,
Okay, so
16.
natural 18, and I think that's a 21.
I got 21 too. Yeah.
Dang. Okay. All right.
21.
Arnold, the figure that you inspect is a dead mercenary wearing the same black garb that you've seen twice now before. The figures on the warehouse floor, dead when you guys arrived at the scene, and the same figures that you saw kneeling defiant in front of the city guard your first night in Waterdeep as you walked past the scene in the wagon.
Where you met Adam, and yeah.
Exactly. You push the sleeve of one of these of this dead mercenary up, and you see a tattoo on the inside of his elbow of a black winged snake.
Badass.
And that's what you
Okay,
get.
so the Zentarim are the black-winged snake, and the Xanathar are the 10-spoke wheel circle.
Correct.
Oh, this is like a gang war.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
He told us that at the beginning.
Yeah.
The
I don't
very
pay
beginning.
attention.
Okay,
Damn.
well,
Damn.
it's in my notes.
Damn. All right. Cerulean. The dead gnome is a rock gnome, a very specific type of gnome. His boots are tattered, worn, and covered in a pretty foul-smelling mud. A curious inspection of which shows
That they were made for walking.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I may be drunk. I'm sorry.
No, it shows that this rock gnome, whoever he is, has spent a significant amount of time in the sewers. You recognize the rough texture and smell of that being from the same mud that you've cleaned off your own shoes only hours ago.
Do I notice anything, any type of markings, any type of jewelry, anything that could help me identify him potentially as Dalakar?
Nothing personal like that. He's not wearing like an ID tag or anything like that. However, in the pursuit of rifling around this person's person, the inside of his shirt has a secret pocket sewn into the breast on the inside that is empty.
Oh, it's empty?
Correct.
What size is the pocket?
It's about the size. I mean, it's a pocket size. It looks like it can hold something about the size of an avocado.
Okay. That's what I was gonna ask.
One
Could you
singular.
fit 1/7 of a necklace on there?
Yeah, that's
like in the pocket.
that's exactly what my brain just said.
You know, from the clues that you've garnered at the scene, a Nimblewright is involved.
Right.
There are 3 of them in the city total.
Yep.
And all 3 of them come from a place called the House of Inspired Hands.
Hey, that wouldn't happen to be to the north of us, would it?
You know what's fucking crazy? Is the House of Inspired Hands is a temple. It's the Temple of Gond. And the temple district in Waterdeep is to the north of Trollskull Manor by about a mile.
I'm putting things together.
Okay, so at this point, I get up and having made some connections all on my own, I'll gather the troops, and before I do, I'll walk on back over to Adam and just be like, see you around, give him a kiss on the cheek and walk inside. Like, don't give him any time to respond or react, just like take off inside.
I mean, as soon as you breach his personal space, he turns red as a tomato.
Okay.
My favorite thing about that is something that would happen during like 3rd grade recess. Like kiss him on the cheek and then run away really fast.
But so guys, there's definitely something to the north. Everyone seems to see it. I saw shadows there. I think you guys did too, because I was watching your eyes. I'm pretty sure your eyes did the same thing. Everyone's eyes were on the north. What if we went, I'm just gonna say it, north. Like,
So at this point, Sir
damn
William
it,
looks-
Arnold, you're a genius.
yes, I got one. As character.
Floon, your
I
head
could not-
bartender until we get back.
Arnold, man the stage. Do your best. You're a star. We're going to the House of Inspired Hands.
Floon, I'm counting the registers when I get back, and if there is a single copper piece missing, you will be missing a finger.
Yes.
I feel like Mel just very begrudgingly comes down from the perch and just kind of like looks up at it sort of sad and longingly, and like, be back.
It falls off the
Cerulean-
drywall and shatters. into
Don't you do
million
that to
pieces.
me. Does not.
Cerulean just pats her on the shoulder and she's like, it's okay. You'll be back soon. We just gotta, you can go back to your hidey hole later. I promise.
We'll be back. I'm sorry,
You,
but go.
you leave and see Floon staring at all 10 of his fingers, just like shaking like a leaf. We're going to do a smash cut. Smash cut. The House of Inspired Hands, the Temple of Gond, is a large house set away from the road a little bit. There is a like intricate wrought iron gate that you pull a handle, and like it's almost like a Rube Goldberg machine of cogs and gears that whir and turn, and these gates like move inwards silently and weightlessly, almost like a pair of feathers, as opposed to like huge heavy cast iron gates. And there is a short drive, maybe like 20 feet, to an imposing temple front with a pair of closed doors. And I would love everybody to make a perception roll, please.
Got it.
Oh, Gareth rolled an 18.
Whoa. I did bad. I only got a 13 that time.
All right, Arnold got a 13. Gareth got an 18.
I got an 18.
Cerulean got an 18.
13.
Bessie got a 13. Okay, Cerulean and Gareth. This is gonna sound fucking crazy.
Like you don't normally.
There's a sound of angry hornets, like a pack of bees.
Are
And
you shitting my dick?
Okay. I mean, I know it can't be episode title, but it's the episode title, right? Like Gareth does it again.
That's not a very like family friendly title.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get away with
Eugene's
that
gonna
one.
take one look at that and be like, absolutely not. Oh my god. All right.
So anyway, the sound of bees.
Sound of bees, and you look to try and find the source of this sound. And standing on the roof of this temple is a tall, spindly, thin-armed creature of cog and bone, standing in a pose of like a slinger having just thrown a rock out of its sling. And your attention is fixated on this creature, almost to the point of ignoring this hissing, buzzing sound, as a falcon made entirely of cog and steam and gears comes screeching towards you all from your peripherals and slams into you as a group.
That's the coolest shit I've ever heard.
Is this where you're freaking stopping? No.